It's almost as much as a task to call this race as it is to ride in it. Tricky to negotiate your way correctly around this for riders and commentators. It's Richard Hoyles who'll shortly have the honour of guiding us through as they circle down at the start for the Glenfarclas handicap chase. Gard Petra looking for a record-breaking third straight success in this Cheltenham Festival event.
Racing for the Glenfarclas handicap chase and quickly on towards the bank with the hedge, which marks the commencement of the jumping. Heads on the ground is the first horse to rise. They're all safely over, and now they'll head towards the ditch railed hedge, which is number 2. Heads on the ground disputing the early running in company as well with towards the inside Silver Birch. Double Dizzy's quite handy, and also Sizing Australia as they race on towards this second obstacle, which Heads on the ground takes well. The back markers over it, well, they included Tawneys, so they've got a long way to go. Drombeg is under restraint. Mungo Hostin as they head towards the Birch Island fence, which they can take on either side of the divide. But they all decide to take the route that was closest to the start. Mungo Hostin actually made a very slight error there and is at the rear of the field as they head towards the Aintree fence, which is number 4. And out in front, Heads on the ground, leading from Silver Birch and Double Dizzy. In 4th place is Lac Dudal at this stage from in 5th place, Sizing Australia, just ahead of Another Jewel, who's going to rise at the Aintree fence in 6th. Again, Mungo Hostin wasn't the most fluent. Tawneys, Oceanos des Obeaux and also Cornish Set are in the rear division at this stage as they head on towards another bank with hedge, which they all take. And continue on. One that was a little slower than some there was Priest Leap as they're quickly on towards the next fence. Indeed, Priest Leap has dropped back towards the rear of the field. So heading towards the hedge and log fence, which is number 7. Will mark their halfway stage just about of this first of the 3 circuits they take, and they're racing on then towards the next. And over in front, Heads on the ground, who knows his way round here, continues to show the way from Silver Birch, racing in 2nd place as they head towards the little section of the racecourse that they only jump on one occasion. The next 4 fences are only taken once during the course of the race, the timber rails being the first of them, number 9. Heads on the ground is over from Silver Birch, just watching the whole field over it. The JP Phalanx in midfield. Lammy's just ahead of Gard Petra in the quartered cap. Freeney's well alongside Drombeg. The one that's not in that little group is the one that leads. Heads on the ground as they race towards the next obstacle, a railed hedge, which is number 10. As I say, they take this just the once. And Priest Leap continues to be the back marker. So Heads on the ground, leading them on a turn back towards fence number 11. Ditch with the railed hedge will be next, with Silver Birch in 2nd place. Double Dizzy in the 2-tone blue colours ahead of Lac Dudal the grey. Sizing Australia in 5th place, the red cap, just ahead of Lamy. Gard Petra is in that little group as well, with a new story as they rise at that next fence. Back markers over it included Oceanos des Obeaux as they're continuing now to turn back towards us, racing onto the pole and railed hedge, which is number 12. And over in front, still Heads on the ground. There's been precious little change in the order. Priest Leap and Oceanos des Obeaux, the ones that are slightly struggling. Mungo Hostin still towards the tail of the field. So they're making their journey back towards fence number 13, which they take in a different direction to it being 18 later on, which is the ditch and bank hedge. And you can see Mungo Hostin had a little bit of a look at that. Don't think he's seen anything quite like that at racing pace in the past as they head on towards the next fence, number 14, all of the time just bringing themselves back towards the completion of this first circuit. Silver Birch and Heads on the ground are over, and generally they've all handled all of these obstacles pretty well as they head on towards fences 15 and 16, which are the cheese wedges, and out in front, Heads on the ground on the outer of Silver Birch. Racing in 3rd place is Double Dizzy as they prepare to take the first of the pair of obstacles, which I say come very quickly indeed, into that little dip and then quickly climbing again. And they set out now on a slightly shorter circuit with Heads on the ground in front. Over to Mike Cattermole.
And in 2nd place is the former Grand National hero Silver Birch, who's having a lovely time of it out there. 3rd then is Sizing Australia, who races together with Double Dizzy on the inside. The white cap of Lamy of JP McManus's quintet. Lac Dudal is next. No move yet from Gard Petra as they take the ditch and railed hedge. Also held up in the middle of the field too is Another Jewel together with Drombeg. Tawneys is towards the back of the field. So too Priest Leap. Oceanos des Obeaux has dropped out to last. One I didn't mention there, making some some ground up is Mould Munker Hostin in the yellow jacket, who's getting a little bit closer together with Cornish Set. They're back over the ditch, bank and the hedge over in the centre of the course there. Once again, a real test of their agility as the pace setter heads on the ground, continues to cut it out. Sizing Australia closing down with Silver Birch close up on the inside. Double Dizzy is there, Lac Dudal the Grey, Lamy, Garde Champetre racing together with Freeney's Well in the middle of the field as they go towards the 19th fence, and a slight mistake there by A New Story, who took that in about 6th or 7th place. Making their way towards the 20th then, the ditch and rail hedge, heads on the ground from Silver Birch. There's only about half a length between them. In third place, Double Dizzy. Sizing Australia jumped that slight to the left as they took that right-hand turn. Lac Dudal, A New Story, making up ground behind them. Getting closer all the time is Lamy, also trying to close up a little bit, but still with plenty in the tank, it would seem, is Garde Champetre, who's chasing the three-timer here over the ditch and boarded hedge, which is fence number 21. And there was a slight mistake there by Another Jewel at the back of the field as heads on the ground leads them once again towards the water jump. The long run before they get to it, a right sweeping turn now as they head back towards us. Heads on the ground from Silver Birch, 2 lengths away, Double Dizzy. Sizing Australia running a big race for the de Bromhead team. Lac Dudal the Grey is bang there with every chance still as they take that. Lamy is next, Freeney's Well, Garde Champetre just tracking in the middle of the field then as they turn back towards the next fence, which is the double spread hedge for Fred, which is number 23 here of the 32, and it's still in front, heads on the ground as they come towards it now with Silver Birch pressing on the outside. Lac Dudal, Double Dizzy, A New Story is next, then comes Sizing Australia, and Lamy and Garde Champetre still yet to play their cards as they go that next fence and head off towards the final circuit where Munker Hostin made a slight mistake.
So heading out towards the business end of the race, and the tempo just on the increase. Heads on the ground and Silver Birch have been at the head of affairs throughout. From Lac Dudal, ridden along now in 4th place, is Double Dizzy at this point from Sizing Australia. Garde Champetre is still no closer than midfield at this stage and was just briefly niggled along for a stride or two. Still towards the back of the field, a Priestley, Munker Hostin, having made some ground, has lost it again. Oceanus, Dizobo, Drombeg and Tawneys are also towards the rear. So heads on the ground, steps over that with Double Dizzy and Lac Dudal in closest attendance. Silver Birch is being ridden along now in 4th place. A New Story up on the outside, black and blue with a noseband from Sizing Australia, who continues to travel strongly, as does Cornish Set, who's made good ground. Then comes Lamy, Garde Champetre on the inside of Freeney's Well, still in close enough attendance as they take the Aintree fence for the 2nd time, at which Sizing Australia made a mistake, and there was also a mistake back through the field. May well have been Garde Champetre that made it. He's lost a little bit of ground towards the inner, and as a result dropped back to about 11th or 12th place, and is now beginning to have to get back into the race. That was a crucial error by Garde Champetre. So out in front, Lac Dudal leads from in 2nd place. Up the inside, Lamy. Could this be his year? Freeney's Well also tracking, going well with Double Dizzy. Then Sizing Australia. A New Story comes next. One that's making good ground is Another Jewel as they turn back towards the last 2 fences or flights of hurdles as they race now towards it. And out in front is Lac Dudal, who takes the 2nd last from Lamy, who's got there well. Freeney's Well comes next on the inside of Sizing Australia. Garde Champetre is now beginning to improve, but is in a JP traffic jam up the inside. Sizing Australia was the one that was the chief sufferer. A lot of chances. Lac Dudal the Grey, pressed by Lamy the white cap. A New Story, Another Jewel, and then Garde Champetre. Lamy's rider looks over. He'll see A New Story right alongside Lac Dudal between the pair. Then Another Jewel at the last. Lamy jumps to the front in the white cap. A New Story, however, down the centre is now alongside, and it's A New Story who narrowly goes to the front. A New Story driven out towards the line. A New Story is going to win for Adrian Heskin at the line. A New Story won the cross country. In 2nd was Lamy, tight for 3rd Lac Dudal, and then Another Jewel ahead of Garde Champetre, who made that mistake at the wrong time, and then Freeney's Well.
Well, a controversial race for the Glenfarclas Handicap Chase, but the winner is clearly A New Story at 25 to 1 for young Adrian Heskin, for Michael Hurrigan, who of course was made famous with Doran's Pride back in the day, and he's won another Cheltenham Festival race with A New Story, who stayed on strongly up the hill to outgun the Ender Bolger trained Lamy with JT McNamara on board, and 3rd was Lac Dudal. He put up a bold bid, this 11-year-old grey, for Philip Hobbs and Rhys Flint.